Hi, I am Dr. Abhishek Joshi, and in this video lecture we are going to discuss about the optical communication. So I am going to introduce about the optical communication, what is optical communication and what are the advantages of optical communication and what are the different optical bands in optical communication we are going to discuss in this lecture. We have to refer the book, that is the John M. Senior and the Optical Fiber Communication Principle and Practices by Pearson. Another book which we have to refer is the Grad-Kaiser Optical Fiber Communication by McGraw-Hill's edition. There are two reference books also by Govind P. Agarwal and Joseph P. Claris, which can be further referred to gain more knowledge. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the meaning of optical communication, the nature of the optical communication, what are the objectives and the applications of optical communication. So these 4 points we are going to cover in this lecture. So what is the meaning of this subject? So optical means that is related to light. So optics means that is related to light, and communication. Here this communication means that is transfer of information from one point to another. So that is communication. So when we are transferring the information from one point to another with the help of the light, that is known as optical communication. So this is the name of the subject, that is optical communication. So we can define communication that communication engineering is a process of conveying information from one place to another via electrical or electronic means, that is using some components, devices, equipments and processes from source to destination using transmitter and receiver through some channel or medium. So this is the definition of communication. Now we'll define the optical word. So what is optical? Optical means that is related to light. The carrier signal lies in the optical range. So optical range is defined for this frequency, that is 10 to the power 13 to 10 to the power 16 Hertz. Within the optical spectral wavelength, so the wavelength we are talking about is from 0.8 micrometer to 1.7 micrometers. In terms of the nanometer scale, it is 800 to 1700 nanometers. So it is a near infrared and visible region in the EM spectrum, that is the electromagnetic spectrum. So information is carried in form of light. So that's why we are calling it as optical communication. Channel is replaced by the spatial guided media known as the optical fiber, generally made up of the glass or plastic. So it can be made of glass or plastic. So these optical fibers are made up of the glass or plastic. So what is the nature of this subject? So operation, working and purpose wise, it belongs to the communication engineering. When we are talking about the construction wise, as per the use of the components, equipments and system wise, it belongs to electronic engineering, because we are using different devices, the construction. But overall the subject belongs to the communication engineering category, because we are using these optical communication, or you can say for communication engineering, to transfer the information from one point to another, or we can say it is used especially for internet. So what are the different applications of optical communication? It is used in telecommunication industry, it is used for internet, best and economical means for long distance transmission. All those data applications where large bandwidth, so optical communications are providing very large bandwidth because of the frequency in the order of 10 to the power 13 to 10 to the power 16 Hertz. very high data rate is required for fast communication with less number of errors. So it is providing very less number of errors as compared to the other communication techniques. So further wireless applications will be combination of optical plus wireless. So where we are using two different communication techniques, that is optical communication as well as wireless communication. That is example is free space optics. So the latest is, you can consider that this is nothing but a Li-Fi, which is an example. So free space optics based communication system and ROF. ROF stands for radio over fiber. So we are using radio over fiber for this based communication systems. Now we'll discuss about the different frequency spectrum that is used for optical communication. So we are classifying it as the optical spectral band and windows. So there are different windows which are used for the optical communication. So here we can see this is the frequency scale starting from 0, or you can say DC, to 10 to the power 22. So we have considered this scale in terms of wavelength. So this is frequency and this is the scale of wavelength. So in terms of wavelength, it starts from 3000 kilometers of wavelength to 0.3 picometer of wavelength. So here we have from the radio frequency is from 0, that is RF frequency is from 0 to 10 to the power 9. So here you can see these are the radio frequencies from 0 to 10 to the power 9, that is gigahertz. So here we have the long wave from 0 to 10 to the power 5. These are classified as the long waves. The standard broadcast is at the frequency of 10 to the power 5 to 10 to the power 7 hertz. The short wave belongs to 10 to the power 7 to 10 to the power 8. So these are the short waves. When we are talking about VHF, it is belonging to 10 to the power 7 to 10 to the power 8, and the UHF ranging from, that is 10 to the power 8 to 10 to the power 9, that is ultra high frequency. VHF stands for very high frequencies. Then we have the microwave. Microwave is covering the region that is from 0.3 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz. So we are covering this entire range, that is 10 to the power 9 to 10 to the power 10. We have roughly figured it. Here we have the millimeter wave ranging from 10 to the power 10 to 10 to the power 12 hertz. Then we have the far infrared ranging from 10 to the power 12 to 10 to the power 14, and the infrared is beyond 10 to the power 14, so it is between 10 to the power 14 and 10 to the power 15 hertz. Now it comes with a optical fiber communication. So which band we are using? So it is between the 10 to the power 14 to 10 to the power 15. So here we have this band, that is from the wavelength is from 1.7 micrometers to 0.8 micrometers. So this is the wavelength range which we are using for optical communication, as well as we are also using the visible spectrum, that is the red, that is near about 0.7 micrometers. And we have the violet, when we are talking about VIBGYOR, it is having the different wavelengths which is covered in the visible spectrum, that is from 0.7 to 0.4 micrometers. Then it comes the UV. UV stands for the ultraviolet. So it's ranging from 10 to the power 14 to 10 to the power 17 hertz. So this is the ultraviolet spectrum. Then comes with the X-rays. So X-rays frequency is ranging from 10 to the power 17 to 10 to the power 20 hertz. Next comes with the gamma ray, which is overlapping with this X-rays, having the common frequencies that are ranging from 10 to the power 18 to 10 to the power 21, and beyond that we have the cosmic rays, which is having very high frequencies. Now we have the characteristics and opening ranges of 4 key optical link components. So we are using different optical bands. Okay, that is, we are classifying it as the windows. So when we are talking about the windows for the optical fiber, because when we are transmitting light, it may allow or it may absorb. So the windows which are available for optical communication are, so depending on the attenuation, we have classified it as, that is ranging from 700 to 1700 nanometers. Okay, so the first window for the optical fiber, we have 850 nanometers. So at 850 nanometer, we have the first window which can be used for optical fiber. Next window is the second window. So first window is 850 nanometers. Second window is 1310 nanometers. So here we have 1310 nanometers of wavelength. And third window, here you can see it is 1550 nanometers. So here we can see that the minimum attenuation is provided at 1550 nanometers. That is why this 1550 nanometer is used generally in optical communication. So mostly this 1550 nanometer is used. Remaining we have the slightly higher in the second window, and in the first window we have very large attenuation. So depending on the application, we are using these optical bands. So we have three windows. Then when we are talking about the optical sources, so there are different optical sources. So we have the gallium alnium arsenide. So this is one optical source. So material which can be used is gallium alnium arsenide and indium gallium arsenide phosphate. So these are the two materials which are used for optical source. And for optical amplifiers, there are two techniques we can see, that is Raman amplification. Now depending on the wavelength, these optical amplifiers and the materials and the sources are used. So when we are talking about the lower wavelength, that is from 700 to 850 nanometers, we are using the material for optical source, that is gallium alnium arsenide. When we are talking about the third window, that is 1550 nanometer, we are using the material that is indium gallium arsenide. So these are the material which are used for the source depending on the wavelength. Now the amplifiers, when we are talking about optical fiber amplifiers, we have the PDFA amplifier, TDFA amplifier and EDFA, indium doped amplifiers. So when we are talking about the photodetectors, means at the receiver side we have to convert the photons to electrons. So here we have to use the photodetectors. So depending upon the responsivity, the response of different materials we can see here. So here we have silicon. So silicon is used for 700 to 1000 nanometers. So silicon can be used at a lower wavelength. For higher wavelength, we are having the material that is indium gallium arsenide and the another material is germanium. So these are the materials which are used at the receiver side to sense, or you can say the conversion of photon to electrons. Now we have used the nomenclature to designate different bands. The designations of spectral band used for optical fiber communication. So we have O band, E band, S band, C band, L band and U band. So O band is ranging from 1260 to 1360 nanometers, where E band is ranging from 1360 to 1460 nanometers. S band is from 1460 to 1530 nanometers. C band is from 1565 to 1625 nanometers and U band is ranging from 1625 to 1675 nanometers. So this table shows the spectral band designation used in the optical fiber communication. So we have the O band. O band stands for the original band, having the spectrum which I have discussed. Now what is the origin of the name? Original, that first region used for the single mode fiber. That's why we're calling it as a original band. Next is the extended band. Extended band stands for the E band, ranging from 1360 to 1460. Link use can extend into this region for fiber with low water content. So here we can use for low water content. Next band is the short band, also known as S band, ranging from 1460 to 1530 nanometers. Wavelengths are shorter than the C band, so that's why we're calling it as a short band, but higher than the E band. So that's why we're calling it as a short band. Next is the conventional band. So conventional band is which is used generally, that is 1550 nanometers. So we have the conventional band, also known as the C band, ranging from 1530 to 1565 nanometers, or the specific wavelength is 1550 nanometers, which is used. The wavelength region used by the conventional, that is EDFA amplifier, that is iridium doped amplifier. Next band is the long band, ranging from 1565 to 1625 nanometers. Gain of an iridium doped decreases steadily with to 1 at 1625 nanometers in this longer wavelength band. Next is the ultra long band. So ultra long band, that is also known as U band, ranging from 1625 to 1675 nanometers, region beyond the response capability of an iridium doped amplifier. Now we have defined the general communication system. So general communication system have the information source, the transmitter which covers the modulator. If it is digital, it will be a digital modulator. If it is analog, it is analog modulator. Then we have the medium, also known as the channel. Next is the demodulator, or you can say receiver. So if it is analog, it is analog demodulator. If it is digital, digital modulator. The destination means we are converting our demodulated signal to a specific, or you can say useful information. So here we again recover our information at the destination. So the communication system covers the modulator, the channel, and the demodulator. So this is the communication is having the three basic blocks. Now when we are classifying the optical fiber communication system, what additional things we have? So in this, the information source which generates our data or the message. Then we have the electrical transmit, because our data, for example, it is audio, then audio is converted to the electrical signals with the help of the transducer. So it have the electrical signals. Then we have the optical source. So optical source means conversion of the electrical energy to light with the help of the source. For example, it may be LED or it may be a laser. So we have the optical source which converts the electrical energy to light. Next is the waveguide, or you can say the optical fiber cable. So optical fiber cable is used to carry this light from the transmitter to the receiver. Next we have the optical detector, which converts the light to the electrical energy. So the light, or you can say the photon, is converted to electrons. So we have the optical detector, or we can say this is nothing but a photodiodes. So photodiodes converts the light energy to electrical energy. So we are using this. Then we have the electrical receiver, which again sends the electrical signals and demodulate it, and at the destination we have received the useful information. So this is the entire optical fiber communication system. Now when we are talking about the digital optical fiber link, so for specifically when you are talking about digital optical fiber link, what we have the digital information in forms of zeros and ones, and this digital information is given to the encoder to encode the data. Then we are using the laser Laser stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. So we have the laser drive circuit which provide the power supply to this laser, and then the modulated data is fed to the fiber, that is a fiber cable. So the light is generated and fed to the fiber. At the receiver side, the same light is received, and with the help of the avalanche photodiode, the light is, or you can say the photons, are converted to the electrons or the electrical signals. So here we have received the electrical signals. Now this electrical signals is very weak, so we have to use a amplifier and equalizer, so which amplify the electrical signals, and equalizer will equalize the bit duration. Then we have the decoder. So at the transmitter we have used the encoder, the same we have to decode at the receiver side, and we have the digital output. So this is the figure of digital optical fiber link using a semiconductor laser source and avalanche photodiode, that is APD detector. So what are the advantages of optical fiber communication? So advantages are the ultra high bandwidth. So it is providing, because the frequency is ranging in terahertz, that stands for 13 to the 10 to the 16. So we are getting the bandwidth very high. Transmission loss is very low. So we have the loss that is approximately 0.15 dB per kilometers. Low weight and low volume. So because these are made up of glass and plastic, so it is having very light weight. So fiber is lighter and less bulky than the equivalent copper cables. So when we are comparing with the copper cables, it is very lighter. More information can be carried by each fiber than by equivalent copper cables. Another advantage is there is a complete electrical isolation, because in optical fiber we are using light, so we don't have the electrons, so there is no flow of current. So we have the complete electrical isolation between the sender and the receiver. So these are the main advantages of using the optical fiber communication. Now we have the electrical isolation. So we have defined there is no interference in the transmission of light from electrical disturbances or electrical noise. Another advantage is immunity to interference and crosstalk. So there is less crosstalk as compared to the copper cables. The optical fiber forms the dielectric waveguide and are therefore free from electromagnetic interference, that is EMI, and radio frequency interference, that is RFI, or switching transient giving the electromagnetic pulses, that is EMP. Hence, the fiber cable requires no shielding from EMI. So the fiber itself can withstand the environmental conditions such as the salt, pollution and the radiation with no resulting corrosion and minimal nuclear radiation effect. So it is more reliable. Another advantage is security of transmission. The transmission is more secure and private, and the cost is very low because we are using the low cost materials like glass and the plastic. Rigidness and flexibility. So these flexible fibers are made up of the plastic or glass. So these are flexible. All the protective coatings are essential. Optical fibers may be manufactured with very high tensile strength. The fiber may also be bent to quite a small radius or twisted without damage. So it can be twisted easily. So system reliability is another advantage. Our system will be reliable and ease of maintenance. So these features primarily stem from low loss property of optical fiber cables, which reduces the requirement for immediate repeaters or line amplifiers to boost the transmitted signal strength, and the reliability of optical components is no longer a problem with the predicted lifetimes, that is approximately 20 to 30 years of life. So in this lecture we have discussed about the optical spectral band with their optical frequencies or operating frequencies. Different windows we have discussed. Then we have discussed about the general communication system, and we have discussed the optical communication system with its advantages. So here we are going to stop this lecture. Thank you.